So, Salil, yes, I've put the link into the chat, and we've invited people to join us in the course for free, which we'd love you to take up and to leave a rating and a review on the course. But Salil, perhaps let's just step through. We give a bit of an introduction there at the beginning. We've spoken about that. I then also give a bit of an introduction to blogging and the sort of masterclass sort of type of approach that we've taken to blogging in the course. And then, Salil, we sort of go into a content strategy. So, do you want to talk a little bit about content strategy? Because I think a lot of people joining us today are probably saying, what is it that I should be blogging about? How do I choose the content that I should be writing about? And there's a whole section there that deals with your content strategy for writing a blog.
Yeah. So ideally, and this is the overarching theme of the content strategy is write what you love, write what you're passionate about, write what interests you. Because at the end of the day, if you do not write what you are interested in, it's going to be monotonous for you. It's going to be boring for you. It look like a chore or a task for you, right? And you don't want that. You don't want blogging to be another task that you have to do, or you don't want blogging to be another responsibility that you have. It has to be fun. It has to be empowering. It has to be inspiring. So the first step where we start is write what you're passionate about. Write what you love talking about, love sharing information, sharing knowledge, and it can even be the fact of what kind of content you consume. So, right? So go on your YouTube, see what kind of content you're already consuming, what kind of videos you're watching. Go on Google, see your search history. So you will have the answer to what you're really passionate about. Then we've discussed in the course as well is using Google Keyword Planner and Google Trends on how you can actually find topics and other subtopics related to what you want to talk about. So let's say you want to talk about cars, or you want to talk about automobiles, or even in this we did about blogging because we were going to talk about blogging. So we did an entire keyword search on what kind of keywords there are when it comes to blogging and what will be the best keyword for us. And then we moved a step further because as you can see, we saw blogging course for beginners is something that is being searched for a lot. So there are a lot of people who want to get into blogging. They are beginners, and that's where we decided that this is going to be our target. Even though we love talking about blogging and we want to help, but we want to help beginners more because we want to get them started. We want to give them the tools to get started faster, and that's how we use the same strategy that we are teaching you to come up with our content strategy. And that's how you learn is first using Google Trends, using Google Keyword Planner, and then so it comes up with the topic that you're passionate about, subtopic that you want to talk about, niche which you decide based on Google Trends, and then further actual question that you can answer based on Google keyword research. So that's sort of the entire circle that we've gone through, and that will help you go from the thing you want to talk about to actually what you're going to write about. That's the basic idea behind the content strategy that we've done.
And
And you
then,
can see
Salil,
there's yeah, you
yeah,
can
just
see there's a
talking about
content. Yeah.
finding ideas. Yep.
Yeah, we have a section on content research. Ideally, a lot of people say, okay, you know what, I want to talk about cars. I know I want to talk about the latest cars that are being launched, and I want to talk about their features. But then, what kind of features people are looking for in a car, or what kind of features people are interested in a car? That's when we add another step where I say, okay, to find further content ideas, join and eavesdrop on communities. Let's say you join multiple Facebook group, multiple car Facebook groups, and everyone is talking about what's the best mileage for a car, how can a car be more fuel efficient, something like that. So you know that when you're going to write about the latest car, you're going to write about the fuel efficiency because that is something that people are more concerned about rather than, let's say, the leather seats, right? So that's how in communities you find, even in the subtopic niche, what people are really talking about. Or you can ask the target audience saying, hey, the new Renault car is launching. What are your concerns about the car? So then people will give you the answers on what they really want or what they're really asking about the car, and that will help you give them the answers. So there are all these multiple ways that have helped you create strategies on how you can actually figure out what you want to write about and gain more content ideas. Because once you do start writing, you will feel that fatigue. You will feel that after 5-10 articles, what should I write about? What should be my next topic? That happens to us, all of us, even in our course creation. We're always thinking the next course. So these are great ways to be part of the communities and find more topics that you can write about. And Peter,
Thanks,
maybe
Salil.
you can go into your ways of how to write that you've discussed in the course, quality of writing, structure of a blog, all of that. Would love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Salil. And certainly, I mean, as I said at the beginning, just drawing on my experience, of having multiple blogs and having a bit of an opportunity over the years to experiment with my own writing and my own content strategy and writing for different reasons. And again, this is for me, and it may or may not be relevant to you, but I certainly give some insights into what has worked and what I would suggest you might want to focus on in terms of the actual quality and content of the writing that goes into your article. You need to write as well as you possibly can. Yes, it is a more informal style of writing, but you are going to press publish, whether that's on LinkedIn or on your own website. But again, it's not as formal or expected to be as clear and specific as potentially academic writing. And I have a whole entire course on academic writing. So I don't believe that it's in that category necessarily. And you have to find the right balance for yourself. And then I go into a lesson on the structure of the article, and I give you a little bit of a sort of approach to how you want to lay the article out. I talk about possibly the different paragraphs that you want to do. And one of the reasons that I give you that is because some people, get stuck when they sit down to write, and it's literally a blank sheet of paper. Yes, if you've learned from Salil about a content strategy and what the topic is that you want to write about, you've got lots of ideas. Actually coming up with that structure and the layout then is the action that you need to take, and is often where people get a little bit stuck. What I found very useful in my blogging journey early on was to have a clear structure. And if that was as simple as, one opening sentence, 4 paragraphs of 5 sentences, and then one closing sentence, then you're working backwards from that end product. You already know what that's literally going to look like on the screen. And you know that you then need to have a punchy opening title under a good image, with then 3 or 4 ideas that you capture in a number of different paragraphs, with a closing statement at the end. And Salil, also what I talk about is, and we mentioned about the SEO of the title and getting people onto the blog, and what route you need to take from the title. So you need to have something that's interesting and will keep people reading. You don't want to go into a lot of detail. You can put hyperlinks to other articles that helps them, give them a bit more background. But you want to quickly get the reader to the crux of what you have to say about a topic. And they've come to you because they want to hear from you. And if you're a little bit opinionated, or you've got the experience and the skills and the credentials to make a statement about something, there's nothing wrong with doing that. And you think about headlines that we read in the newspapers, or, and it's not about being clickbaity, because if you don't meet people's expectations, then they won't come back to read your writing again. But you can, experiment with punchy titles, punchy opening sentences, but then the content of the article's really got to talk to why you feel that, what evidence or anecdotal examples you can give for that, and what you feel is the difference that your view will make in other people's lives, or the impact that this issue is talking about, and that people, if they had more information about it, might result in some or other different result. And once you get them going through the article, very important also that you manage their expectations about how long that article is going to be, and how much more reading time they're going to have to allocate to get a full picture of what it is that you're talking about. And what you'll see on some very professional blogs, and particularly, for example, on McKinsey's website, you'll see a little scroll bar. And I think a couple of others have this as well. And you'll see exactly how much more of the blog article you have to read before getting to the end. And obviously, if you're just starting out on LinkedIn, you don't have to be as fancy as that. And I would just put there 1 of 5 paragraphs, 2 of 5, 3 of 5, 4 of 5, 5 of 5, and people would know exactly at what stage they were at during the article, so that they knew how long they had to stick around to get some more value from it. And of course, the quality of the writing and my own input on the topic should also be important and valuable enough to keep them going through the article itself.